Do you want to know a secret that nobody dares whisper in polite company? You are already a pawn in someone else's game. Yes, you. Every nod you give, every smile you fake, every word you swallow to keep the peace. It's a thread in a web you didn't even know you were weaving. And the cruelest part? You're not just the victim. You're the architect, too. Because manipulation isn't a shadowy art reserved for villains. It's the silent pulse of every conversation, every glance, every choice you make or let someone make for you. But what if I told you that this game doesn't have to trap you? What if instead of stumbling through the moves others script, you could master the board? Not with brute force, not with loud demands, but with the quiet precision of a general who never draws his sword. Over 2,500 years ago, Sun Tzu sat in the stillness of a war-torn world and penned The Art of War, not just a manual for battle, but a map for influence, a blueprint for bending wills without breaking them. And today, right now, his words are whispering to you. The art of manipulation is not a sin to confess. It's a skill to command. Are you ready to listen, or will you keep pretending that the strings pulling you aren't there? Let's begin with the truth. Sun Tzu carved into the stone of strategy. All warfare is based on deception. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the last time someone convinced you to say yes when your gut screamed no. Was it a raised voice? A clenched fist? Or was it subtler? A smile that didn't reach the eyes? A question that wasn't a question? A pause that made you fill the silence with your own surrender? Deception isn't always a lie. It's a mask. It's a shadow cast to hide the hand moving the pieces. Sun Tzu knew this. To manipulate is to shape what others see, not what is. Think about your life. How often do you show only the face others want to see? How often do you hide the trembling doubt, the burning want, behind a curtain of calm? You're already playing the game, but are you winning? Or are you just another soldier marching to someone else's drum? Sun Tzu's first lesson is simple but brutal. If you want influence, master the art of illusion. Not to destroy, but to direct. Not to harm, but to hold. Now imagine this. You're in a room with someone you need to bend to your will. A boss, a friend, a lover. You could demand. You could beg. But Sun Tzu leans in from centuries past and says, "The leader is the arbiter of the people's fate, the man on whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or peril." Influence isn't force, it's perception. Make them believe the choice was theirs. Plant the seed and let them water it. Deception doesn't shout, it whispers. It's the glance you hold just long enough, the silence you wield like a blade, the question you ask that leads them to the answer you've already chosen. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people say the least? They don't argue, they don't plead, they wait, they watch. And in that stillness, they shape the battlefield. Sun Tzu taught, "He who knows when he can fight and when he cannot will be victorious." Manipulation isn't a war of words, it's a war of timing. Strike too soon and you're exposed. Wait too long and the moment slips. But catch the rhythm, the exact heartbeat when their guard drops, and the world tilts in your favor. Let's pause here. Do you feel that flicker in your chest? That mix of unease and curiosity? Good. That's the sound of your mind waking up to a truth you've always known but never named. You've been manipulated by those who understood this rhythm before you did. The colleague who casually dropped a hint that became your next project. The friend who sighed just loud enough to guilt you into staying. They didn't force you. They didn't have to. They knew what Sun Tzu knew. Control the terrain, and the battle is already won. And what is the terrain? It's not the room you're in. It's the mind of the person across from you. Sun Tzu said, "Know the enemy and know yourself, and you can fight 100 battles without disaster." Manipulation begins with understanding. What do they want? What do they fear? What keeps them awake when the world goes quiet? You don't need to guess. You need to listen. Not to their words, words lie, but to the cracks beneath them, the hesitation, the laugh that's too quick, the eyes that dart away. Every human is a map of weaknesses, and Sun Tzu's genius was teaching you to read it without them knowing. Picture this. You're negotiating something. A raise, a favor, a promise. The old you might have spilled your case, laid every card on the table, hoping honesty would win the day. But Sun Tzu shakes his head. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Why exhaust yourself in a tug of war when you can make them hand you the rope? Instead of arguing, you ask, "What do you think is fair?" And then you wait. They'll talk. They'll reveal. And in their words, you'll find the lever to pull them your way. Not with fists, but with their own momentum. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to glide through life, getting what they want without ever raising their voice? It's not luck, it's strategy. Sun Tzu's second gift to you is this: influence is invisible until it's too late. The best manipulation feels like freedom. The moment they realize they've been swayed, they're already nodding. And the beauty? They'll thank you for it. But here's where the ground shifts beneath your feet. To wield this power, you must face a darker question. Who are you when no one's watching? Because Sun Tzu didn't just teach deception outward, he demanded mastery inward. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Manipulation starts with the mirror. What are your weaknesses? What strings can others pull to unravel you? If you don't know, someone else will, and they'll use it before you can blink. Look at your life. How often do you bend because you're afraid of what they'll think? How often do you chase approval instead of power? Sun Tzu's voice cuts through. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. Every time you hesitate, every time you flinch, you hand the reins to someone bolder. Manipulation isn't just about controlling others, it's about controlling the chaos inside you. The fear, the doubt, the need to be liked. Cut those threads and the game changes. Now let's climb higher. Sun Tzu said, "In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. The world around you is a storm. People clashing, egos colliding, wants tangling like vines. Most see disorder and run. But you can learn to see the cracks where influence slips in. A heated argument is a chance to mediate and steer. A crisis is a stage to quietly take the lead. The louder the noise, the softer your move. Manipulation thrives not in calm waters, but in the churn." Have you ever watched someone turn a room with a single sentence? Not a shout, not a command, but a well-timed whisper that shifts the tide? That's Sun Tzu's legacy. The leader who wins makes many calculations in his temple before the battle is fought. Influence isn't improvisation, it's preparation. You study the players, you map the field. You rehearse the moment in your mind until the words fall like rain, natural, inevitable, and unstoppable. But here's the paradox that might stop you cold. The more you master this art, the less you'll need it. Sun Tzu didn't crave war, he craved victory. And the ultimate victory is a life where influence flows without effort. Where people turn to you not because you tricked them, but because you've become the still center in their storm. Manipulation, at its highest form, dissolves into presence. You don't pull strings, the strings pull themselves. Let's step back. Do you feel that weight settling in your chest? That's the realization that this isn't theory, this is your life. Every interaction is a battlefield, every word a weapon or a shield. Sun Tzu didn't write for generals alone, he wrote for you. For the moments you've lost because you didn't see the game being played. For the moments you could win if you dared to play it better. So what now? Will you keep drifting, a leaf in someone else's wind? Or will you take Sun Tzu's ancient hand and learn to bend the breeze? Because here's the truth no one else will tell you. Manipulation isn't evil, it's a tool. And like any tool, it's only as good as the hand that wields it. Use it to harm, and it'll cut you back. Use it to build, and the world will open its gates. Imagine for a second what your life could be if you stopped reacting and started shaping. Who would you sway? What would you claim? That version of you, calm, certain, untouchable, is waiting on the other side of the fear that holds you now. Sun Tzu saw it clearly. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. The battle for influence is won before a word is spoken. It's won in the silence where you decide who you'll be. This is the art of manipulation, not a cage to trap others, but a key to free yourself. Not a shout to drown them, but a whisper to lift you above. Sun Tzu's strategies aren't relics of war. They're the pulse of every human dance. And you? You're already in it. The question is, will you stumble or lead? This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a game you've been playing without knowing the rules. If this stirred something in you, subscribe and ring that bell, because the next chapter might just hand you the moves you've been missing. And in the comments, leave me this: I shaped the game. That's how I'll know you're here, part of this quiet army of strategists, thinkers, and shadow weavers. Until next time, step into the chaos, not to fight it, but to command it. The board is yours. Will you play?